Okay, well, with Stephen Maguire, Head of Performance and Coaching with Scottish Athletics, just reflecting on the Spar British Championships last weekend, and a very good medal haul for Scottish athletes, 9 in total, 5 golds, 2 silver and 2 bronze. How pleased were you with that outcome, Stephen?
Yeah, it's always hard to predict when you go into it. So, you know, when you say that there's 9 medals, you have to say that was good work, and good work for the athletes. And we could, you know, a wee bit of luck, we could have had a couple more as well. But we'll settle for 9, and we'll settle for, I suppose, more than anything, in the manner that some of the athletes actually stood up and performed. So that was tremendous.
Yeah, there were some top performances, and people like Laura Muir and Gemma Reekie, they really stamped their authority on their events, didn't they?
Yeah, Laura in particular, you know, a 56.9 last 400 in a 3,000 metres. It's been bandied about now a lot, but people need to realise how fast that was and how well she did it. You know, she's, you know, I think, as I said at one other stage, you know, she's now gone to the stage where that expectation is there, the expectation from her is there, so it shouldn't be a surprise, but it's very, very special. And her training partner Gemma, my God, you know, that 100 metres where she just left the rest of the field and really demonstrated what potential she's got, you know, and she's a very young athlete. She's coming out of juniors, competed last year in Berlin for the first time, and I think it was probably her first senior international, or certainly her first main senior international, but just the way that she laid that down and wasn't afraid, and when she kicked, it was game over, wasn't it? And tremendous performance.
Taking a slightly broader view, there were PBs for athletes in other events. I know there were some in the 800, but for the sprinters, Adam Thomas, Fraser Angus, Michael Olsen, really good to see them setting PBs in a championship context. How can they and their coaches move forward from here?
Probably, if you mention Zoe Clark, for example, they would need to follow Zoe and what she has done. You know, where she a few years ago went down and she showed what she can do, then closed the gaps and performed really well this year. If you look at the 3 athletes that you're talking about, Adam in particular, I think, showed that, you know, he has shown the promise that he had showed a couple of years ago. Michael has just recently moved coaches and he's done well. And the 3 of them, I think my advice to them, not to settle where they're at, remain very, very hungry. And Adam, of course, has got an opportunity, you know, to hopefully make the team. If you run 660, so it's pat yourself in the back, what you've done, but also keep that hunger and push it forward.
Okay, so off the back of the indoor season, you know, both in Scotland and in the wider context of the British Champs, how important is it now for athletes that they set that aside and refocus for the summer? Is that the word?
It is the word, yeah, and it's a similar type of question and a similar type word, refocus. So the athletes who have now been selected or who will be selected to compete for Great Britain at the European Indoor Championships, they have to refocus now. They have to celebrate what they've actually done and you know, in the performance that they've hit. And now, right, okay, how do we get onto the podium? How do we make finals? They have to concentrate on that end of things. The other athletes who, you know, maybe the season didn't go quite so well, it's a brilliant opportunity to have learned. It's a brilliant opportunity to have gone into a competitive environment and maybe picked out a few wee things that were missing in training or that they need to enhance or they need to develop. And having that information so early in the year, particularly with the World Championships at the back end of the season, but also going into British trials and everything like that, they've got tons of time now to be able to do that. But my message to them all would be to reflect a little bit on how do we get better. It's the same for both groups of athletes.